Say no to rotiyan like this, and hello to rotiyan like these. In today's video, we're covering how to make rotiyan at home that don't turn out hard and crispy, so let's get cracking. For this recipe, you only need 3 ingredients. You need 250 grams of atta. Today I've used organic whole wheat atta, but you can choose any one you like. And you'll need roughly 250 milliliters of water. Now the amount of water you use is going to depend on what atta you choose. So for rotiyan, you kind of have to go with the flow with it. To finish it off, you either need a little bit of oil or butter just to put on the roti when it's made. Okay, so our first step is we're going to put the atta into a bowl and we're going to start adding the water in parts. You're going to use your fingertips to start combining the two together, and that's really the trick of how to keep the atta off your hands. As you start adding the water in, pour it onto your fingers so it takes off any atta that's stuck. Once you've mixed it all together, we're going to leave this to set for about 20 minutes and then we're going to come back. The consistency should be soft so you can press into it, but you don't want it to be wet or soggy. Knead the dough using your fist. If you find that the atta is too sticky, just wet your hand a little bit and it will make it a lot easier. Show the atta what you're made of, give it a good punch. And now it's ready to use. Take a small amount of atta and roll it up into a ball. You can start to slightly flatten it by rolling it between your hands. Once you've got that ball shape, drop it into your dry flour and just make sure it's covered properly. Now this is the tricky bit. What you're going to do is you're going to place that ball into one of your hands and start flattening it with the other hand, slowly rotating it as you do it. You'll end up with this small little pancake shaped roti, and we're going to start rolling that out with our rolling pin. Once you've got it into a small roti shape, you can add a little bit more flour just to stop it sticking. Here's a tip. If you apply slightly more pressure to just one side of the rolling pin, you'll see that the roti actually turns itself around. And that's how you get the even thickness throughout. If your roti starts to stick, don't be afraid to use your hand to move it slightly too. Right, now this is good to go. We've got an even thickness throughout. Let's pick that up, give it a little pat over to make sure we get any of the dry atta off, and we're going to put it onto the tawa. Typically, your tawa needs to be on a medium heat, but again, depending on what atta you're using, you might have to adjust this. The more you start making roti, the more you'll figure out the temperatures, and it'll start to become really clear. You'll see very quickly that the roti starts to change colour. Once the majority of the roti has changed colour, it's time to flip your roti. This is where temperature is really important. You need the temperature to be right for the roti not to come out hard. Too hot, you'll end up burning your roti, but too low will make it dry. You need to experiment with the temperatures, the gas or the heat that you have, and find what works for you. Once we've got the even dots over one side, we'll flip it back over just to let it cook properly, and you'll see this is where it really comes alive. To help the roti puff out like this, you can press down on the parts that haven't puffed up. This should give them a little prompt to join in. Oh, and if you like this video, a sub to the channel would be fabulous. We're going to transfer this over to another plate so we can put some butter over it or some oil if you want to keep it vegan. And there you have it. Making roti doesn't need to be hard. Let me know in the comments what you struggle with when you're making roti. For more from Mrs. Daughter-in-Law, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.